Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name, after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
Before we dive right into our feet, we will want one single massage ball available. Of course, you can always do your double nets if you like, just to cover more ground. But start in a just nice even stance, feet about hip width distance apart, toes and knees pointing fairly forward, and we want to feel like our feet are just nice and solid on the ground. So we just kind of firstly just tune in and just notice, how are our feet feeling? Take a breath and just let your feet get kind of soft and heavy into the earth. Let your knees be a little soft. Let your shoulders be a little soft. And then we're just going to do a little transfer of weight forward and back. So lean forward slightly into the toes and the balls of the feet, and then lean back into the heels. And just, it doesn't need to be extreme. We just want to feel that slight and subtle transfer of weight. And then you may notice that point where you come forward where your back body starts to grip just a little bit. And then when you lean back, the front body grips just a little bit to catch you in those places. All right, take one more forward and back, and then see if you can find that middle space, not too far forward, not too far back. And then staying in that middle space, now we're going to tip it a little side to side. So blade edge of the foot to blade edge of the foot. All right, one more from side to side, and then come to that middle space. So not too far forward, not too far back, not too far to the left or to the right. And then in this nice even stance, just let your shoulders get heavy again. Let your knees be slightly soft. If it feels comfortable to do so, close your eyes down and just notice your breath here. Breathe in and out through your nose. And as you breathe in and out through your nose, we're just going to do a little inventory. So notice if you're breathing evenly through both nostrils, or if it feels like you're breathing a little bit more predominantly through one versus the other. There's no right or wrong. We just want to notice. One more moment just to notice the breath, and then bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice. Never doing anything that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. With that intention set, we're going to put a little bit of an intentional press down into the big toe. So you're going to press your big toe down into the ground and lift the arches of your feet up just a little bit. So we're going to keep that little bit of press down into the big toes. And now we're going to come back to the breath for a moment. Soften your knees. If you press down into the big toes and then it kind of like gripped into your knees, soften your knees or like micro bend intentionally into your knees. Stay pressing down into the big toes. But now we're going to imagine that we're trying to force the breath to come in through both nostrils evenly. And we're imagining that we're breathing right down to the big toe. So take a big breath in through your nose, breathe down to your toes. Exhale as slow as you can. Keep the big toe pressing down. Inhale intentionally through both nostrils best you can. Exhale nice and slow. One more breath, pressing down into the big toe, intentionally breathing evenly through both nostrils down to the toes. Exhale nice and slow, and then soften up that pressure on the big toes, maybe even wiggle out your feet. And then we're going to take the massage ball under one foot, and we're going to just go length of the foot. So how far you go into this, especially since you've practiced it often enough with me, you can take your body weight forward if that feels good, or stay more in that light position and keep most of the body weight on your standing leg. That's just going to be kind of what feels good, where you find a point in your foot that feels like it wants more attention or less. There's no right or wrong there. Take one more glide or two down the length of your foot, and then we're going to go heel down. So we're going to do that little pin and shear. So we're pinning the tissue of the foot onto the ball with the heel down on the ground, and then we're going to shear. So we're going to swish the foot a little bit side to side. One more little shear side to side, and then lift up, move a little bit closer. So the heel's going to still stay on the ground, but now we're coming into that middle point of the foot, or kind of more in the arch versus the ball of the foot. Pin the tissue down and then shear it. So we glide side to side. One more shear side to side. And now we're going to lean off just a little bit, and we're going to go just big toe. So we're going to try to get just the big toe onto the ball, and the other 4 small toes are going to try to get off. Now, that might not be perfect. So don't worry about perfection. Just worry about like focusing mostly on pressing the big toe onto the ball. The ball toe mound is on the ground. Lean into it just a little bit. Take a nice big breath. Come off just for a second, both feet on the ground. So come back to that even stance. Press down into the big toes, lift the arches, breathe intentionally through both nostrils, breathe down to your feet. Exhale nice and slow. And now we're going to switch all that work over to the other foot. So we're going to start with that nice long gliding motion, just kind of massaging through the length of the foot. One foot might behave differently than from the other. So you always want to just make sure you honor the side that you're working with. So no need for evensies, no need for trying to be symmetrical. Go for what feels right in your foot. All right, one more bit of work down the length of the foot, and then we're going to go for that ball of the foot, heel on the ground. So we're going to pin the tissue of the foot onto the ball and then shear. So we swish the foot a little side to side. One more swish side to side, and then lift off just enough so that you can replace the ball a little bit more towards the middle. So think arch of the foot versus the ball of the foot. Heel's going to stay on the ground if it can. Lean into it. So we pin the tissue onto the ball, and then we shear, swish it side to side. One more little swish side to side, and then lean off, big toe on the ball, the other 4 small toes off, or as much as they can get off. And then once you've got the big toe on the 4 toes off, lean into it just a little bit. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. And then release that foot, both feet on the ground, toes and knees pointing fairly forward. Press down into the big toes, lift the arches of the feet, lift up gently through the front of your body, soften your shoulders down. And then we're going to come back to that focused breath for just one or two cycles of breath. So imagine that you're trying to breathe evenly through both nostrils down to your toes. Exhale nice and slow. Awesome. And then wiggle out your toes, wiggle out your ankles. And now we're going to come down into a Sukhasana, or an easy seat. So we will come back to our ball. So if you want to, just kind of place it off to the side where you'll have easy hand access to it. And then find your easy, comfortable seat. Take a moment to just kind of snuggle your shoulders down, soften your gaze, or close your eyes just for a moment. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And we're going to move right into the head and the neck. As you inhale, lift your chin up to the sky. Exhale, tuck your chin down towards your chest. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, tuck your chin down. One more just like that. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Keep your chin down, and now we're going to roll across the chest. So ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. We're just going to take about 3 times each side. Now, the next time your right ear comes towards your right shoulder, stay there, take an extra breath. Roll the chin across the chest, left ear to left shoulder. Pause there, take a breath. Lift your head up to a neutral position and then turning the head from side to side, looking over the shoulder. And we're going to go about 3 times each side. And then once you've done about 3 times each side, head's going to come back to a neutral position. And then we're going to take it into some light dynamic side bends. So we're going to try to think about keeping our sits bones or our hips evenly weighted on the ground. So they're not going to move too much and there's not going to be a weight distribution in the hips. So we're just tipping from side to side in the upper body, not going too far. All right, now the next time the right hand touches down and the left hand reaches up, stay here. We're going to think about pressing down into the sitting bones as we lengthen through the arm. So push in opposite directions. And I'm using my hand on the ground to give me that little bit of leverage to press down into the hips, reaching through the fingertips, pressing down into the sits bones. Take one more breath. All right, and then release nice and slow and controlled, and we'll switch that over to the other side. Hand reaches up, we press down into the sitting bone and lengthen through the hand. One more breath. Release with control, and then we're going to take it right into a twist. So twist to one side, doesn't matter which, because we're going to do both. Find your twisted position. Think about getting just a little bit taller through the spine. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Unwind your twist just a little bit. So heart pointing towards the knee, hands frame the knee or the thigh, hip hinge, lean your heart forward. We're going to stay here for 3 cycles of breath. So only go to a point that feels good where you can still breathe comfortably. One more breath. Come up out of that fold nice and slow. Take your twist over to the other side. Get nice and tall in your twisted position and then come back to your breath. Nice slow inhalations and even slower exhalations. One more breath. Release your twist just enough so that you're framing the knee, and then hip hinge, lean forward just to a point that feels good. And then once you've found a sensation that feels good, come back to your breath. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Slow breath out. One more breath. Come up and out nice and slow. And we're going to release our easy seat, legs out in front of you, and just a little micro windshield wiper of the knees side to side. I'm going to spin myself sideways, but you'll just position yourself in a way that makes good sense. But you're going to take your block. You're going to put your block in front of you on the lowest setting. And then you're going to grab your massage ball as well. We're going to get into the glutes a little bit, but we're going to play around with how we can position our legs to get into our glutes a little bit. So have the block out in front of you. You're going to take your ball underneath your right side glute, and then the right leg is going to be in a little bit of a butterfly position, but we're going to support the foot on the block. And then the left leg can be wherever it likes. It can be in that butterfly position as well, or set it down on the ground. It's just going to be what feels more supportive. But then once you've found your way here, we're going to kind of tip and lean into the glute a little bit, and then lean off it just a little bit. Lean into it just a little bit. Lean off of it. Lean into it just a little bit, lean off of it, stay in that more leaned off position, and then a light and gentle movement of the knee up and down. And then notice here, like if you pick up tension in your jaw, if you feel like your eyebrows get a little bit of tension, soften your jaw, soften the space between your eyes. And then once you've got a nice soft jaw, soft eyes, let your leg get super duper heavy. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. And now we're going to move in and up just a little bit. So you're going to lean off so that you can kind of slide that ball in a little bit further. It'll feel like it's in that thickest, meatiest part of your tush. So get it in there. And then once you've got it in there, come back to that butterfly position. Hands are going to help support. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Now we're going to lean into it, or tip your body weight into it just a little bit further, and then tip it right off. Tip into it just a little bit, and then tip off. Tip into it just a little bit, tip off, find that soft space, let your leg get heavy, take a breath. Awesome. And then we're going to move one more time. So we're going to move in a little bit closer. So now we're going to get as close to the tailbone or the coccyx as we can. So we're still staying in that fleshy material. We're still staying in the glute max area. So we want to stay in the nice big meaty tissue, but getting in a little bit closer. And then once you've found a space, reposition your legs as needed. Pause for a moment, take a breath. Little flaps of that butterfly wing. So just a little bit of gentle movement up and down, not too much. One more little flap of the butterfly wing and then let your leg get super duper heavy. Take 3 nice deep breaths. All right, and then when you're ready, lean off of that, remove the ball out from underneath you. Both legs are gonna come up onto the block into a little bit of a butterfly, but we're gonna lean back. So you're gonna pause for a moment in that lean back position. Let your legs just get as heavy as they will. Take a breath. And then lift yourself back up and off. And now we're going to reposition ourselves for the other side. So your right leg is going to do whatever it wants to do, so it just feels supportive. And I'll show you on my right side, but I'm going to do it on the left. So we're going to come out into that bit of the side of the glute. So you're going to get into that fleshy material, but it's a little bit off to the side. Leg is going to be in that butterfly position, but the foot is going to rest on the block. So find your shape, and then we're going to lean into it just a little bit. I'm using my hands to help me find that lean. Lean off it. Lean into it just a little bit. And then lean off. Lean into it just a little bit. Lean off, stay in that leaned off position, and then a gentle flap of the butterfly wing up and down. Notice if you picked up tension in your jaw or in between your eyes. See if you can soften your jaw. Sometimes the breath is a barometer, but sometimes the breath we can use to temper any feelings that we might have. So sometimes we labor our breath and that's an indication of something. And then sometimes we can control the breath and then soften things. So here was where we want to find that breath to allow us to soften. So soften into your legs, soften into your breath. All right, and then when you're ready, we're going to move it on up and in just a little bit. So move it in a little bit further, find that nice fleshy part of your bum, and then reposition your legs as needed. Once you're there, we lean into it just a little bit, and then lean off. Lean into it just a little bit, and then lean off. Lean into it just a little bit. Lean off, stay in that leaned off position. Let your leg get heavy, soften your jaw, soften into your breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, we're going to lean off so that we can move the ball, but now we're going to move it in a little bit closer. So we're still staying in the fleshy part of the bum, but now getting a little bit closer to the tailbone. So get it in as close to the tailbone as you can, but still staying in the muscly tissue of your butt. And then once you found your way there, reposition, make sure everything feels good. All right, now light little flaps of the butterfly wing, just gently up and down. Doesn't need to be extreme. A little bit goes a long way here. Beautiful. One more flap of that butterfly wing, and then let your leg get heavy. Take a breath. Awesome. Lean off completely, grab that ball out from underneath you, move it out of the way, both feet back on the block into that butterfly position. And then we're going to lean back. So we're going to come down elbows and forearms. Once you've got your elbows and forearms on the ground, let your legs get as soft and heavy as they can. So for some of us, if it gets to the point where it's pulling too much tension on the inner thigh or the groin, we'll keep it lightly supported, but soften just as much as you can. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. And then slowly lift your weight all the way back up. And now we're going to spin ourselves around into tabletop position. So move your block out of the way, spin yourself around. And then once you've found your way into tabletop position, what we will want here is our hand available to grab hold of our TheraBand when the time comes. So just make sure that's a little bit nearby. And then once you've got your prop just kind of handy and nearby, tabletop position, wrists fairly in line with the shoulders, knees fairly in line with the hips. Bop your hips a little bit side to side, like you're trying to drop the side of your butt towards the ground, and then just kind of tune in and notice, how do your knees feel about this work? If your knees don't like it, you'll either cushion the knees or soften the movement. One more bop of the hips side to side, and then hips come back to center. Take it right into cat-cow. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. Inhale to drop the belly. Exhale to round the back. One more time here. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale to round your back. And then we're going to find our way into a neutral spine. Walk it out to puppy pose. So hands are going to walk forward. Hips are going to stay fairly in line with the knees. Chest and the forehead melt down. Take 3 nice big breaths here. On your next inhalation, walk yourself back up to tabletop position. Left hand is going to stay on the ground. Right hand is going to touch behind the head. The rest of the body is going to stay as stable as it can. Touch it back down to the ground. Right hand is going to touch to the back of the head. Everything else stays steady. Touch it back down. Right hand touches to the back of the head. Stay there. Right elbow to left elbow pit. So we rotate in and then exhale. Lift that elbow up towards the sky and maybe look up. Elbow to elbow pit. Exhale and lift it up. Inhale as you elbow to elbow pit. Exhale to lift it up and then release that hand down to the ground. Right hand stays nice and stable now. Left hand is going to touch to the back of the head, but everything else stays steady. Touch it back down to the ground. Left hand touches to the back of the head. Touch it back down. Touch it to the back of the head. Stay there. Left elbow to elbow pit. Inhale as we roll it in. Exhale as we open up. Inhale to bring it in. Exhale, open up. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale to open up. Release that hand to the ground. Pause for a moment. Take a breath. All right, now we're going to grab our TheraBand and we're going to take our TheraBand around the backs of the knees. So we're going to take the TheraBand around the backs of the knees and then we're going to get a good even grip. So we want to kind of line up the ends of our TheraBand so that we can hold them in our hands and keep them nice and tight. So we want to create a bit of tension. Once you've got the TheraBand around the backs of your knees, hands are going to pin the TheraBand down. Curl the toes under. We're going to go from tabletop position up into a downward facing dog. We're going to do about 10 of them. So we want to just feel like we're creating a little bit of resistance in the back of the body. So curl the toes under, exhale, lift up into a down dog shape. And then with control. So we're not going to let the band snap us down. We're going to come down with a good amount of control. Exhale, lift up into down dog. Inhale, release back down. Exhale to lift up. Inhale, release back down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, release. 4 more to go. Awesome. And then as you come back down to that tabletop position, release your grip from your TheraBand, set it off to the side. And actually, if you will, set it off to the side, but up towards the front of your mat so that you'll have access to it. And then find your way back to your tabletop position. Notice your hands because you may have worked your grip just a little bit to hold the TheraBand in place. Notice the backs of the legs. They might feel a little bit of residual tension just because of that rubbing sensation of the TheraBand. So take a moment just to notice gentle sensation in your body. And then when you feel ready, curl your toes under. We're going to go nice and slow. Pull your butt back towards your heels and we'll stretch to the toes and the bottoms of the feet. Take a breath. Peel your knees up, peel your butt up, come up nice and slow into that downward facing dog shape, and then take a few petals of the legs. Bend one knee and press into the opposite heel. One more petal of each leg, and then when you're ready, look forward. Walk your feet up to meet your hands. Come to a fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to a half forward fold, lengthen the spine. Exhale to soften back down. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, half forward fold. Walk your hands up to your thighs, sit into a little bit of a chair position, and then we're going to go for Uddiyana Bandha. So we're going to take 3 of those flying up blocks, or that vacuum suck of the belly, or hypopressive move, whatever you like to call it. We're going to do a little bit of work for our abdomen. So take a nice big inhalation. Exhale nice and slow. At the end of the exhale, we suck the belly in. Hold it for a moment. When you feel ready to do so, you release the abdominal muscles and then take a gentle inhale. Exhale nice and slow. At the end of your exhale, suck the belly in. Hold it for a moment. And then when you feel ready to do so, release the abdominal muscles, take your inhale. Exhale nice and slow. At the end of your exhale, suck the belly in. Hold it for a moment. Release the abdominal muscles, take your inhalation, and then gently push into your feet, rise up to standing, and then pause in your mountain pose for a moment. Just notice your breath, notice your belly, notice the backs of your legs, and actually releasing that TheraBand, you might just notice a sense of kind of freedom in the backs of your legs. So take a moment just to tune into the back of your body best you can. Take a nice big breath. All right, now we're going to press down into the big toes, lift the arches of your feet. Focus on breathing evenly through both nostrils down to your toes. Exhale nice and slow. Release that pressure on your toes. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hands through heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold down to the ground. Inhale, half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up. Hands through heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, we're going to soften back down and then grab your TheraBand, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll your way up to standing. Take your time, but take your TheraBand with you. And then once you've come up to standing, we're going to take the TheraBand behind the back, creating a little bit of space for our arms. So a nice wide grip, and then just a little bit of pumping action of the arms. As we start to pump the arms back, we're going to firm up our belly and almost imagine that your 2 front hip bones are trying to reach towards each other. So we're going to keep that low belly nice and firm as we pump our arms. Go for about 3 more pumps. All right, now we're going to take it into a fold. So bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold over. Let your arms fall away from the back of the body. Take 1 good breath. Hands are going to release towards the low back. Bend your knees, lift from the top of your head. Come up nice and slow and controlled. Pause for a moment, and then we'll do that again. Arms are going to pump away from the back of the body. Bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold over. Let the arms fall away from the back of the body. 1 breath. Hands release to the low back. Push firm into your feet. Rise up nice and slow. Take your time. We're going to do that 1 more time. Arms are going to pump away from the back of the body. Bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold over. Let the arms fall away. 1 good breath. Beautiful. Push firm into your feet. Rise back up. Hang on to that TheraBand. But now we're going to take it in one hand, or we're going to drop it behind the back of the body long ways. And then the other hand is going to re-grab. And then we're not going to go for a stretch. We're going to go for a strengthening here. So we're going to hold on firm with the bottom hand, and the top hand is going to reach up towards the sky. Bend back in with control. So we want to keep a good firm control. Push that hand up towards the ceiling. Now, once you've got that going on, if you've got good control, you're going to think about those front hip bones again. And you're going to imagine that the front hip bones are drawing in towards each other. So we keep the low belly nice and firm. Go for about 2 more up and down with that top arm. And then top arm is going to stay nice and steady, holding still. Bottom arm is going to draw down. One more up and down. And then in that closer position, keep your arms just as they are. Bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold forward. Let the top elbow get nice and heavy. Lift your sitting bones up towards the sky. Take 1 breath. Bend your knees, lift from the top of your head. Come up nice and slow and controlled. And then we're going to switch our arms. So the other arm is going to come on top. Re-grab the bottom end of your TheraBand. Once you've got that good grab, bottom arm is going to hold steady. Top arm is going to do the work. Lifting upward. Coming back down with control. Think about drawing those front hip bones in towards each other. Keep your low belly nice and firm. Go for 2 more up and down. And then that top arm is going to stay in that stable down position and the bottom arm is going to do the work. Going up and down with a good amount of control. Firm up that low belly. Imagine that those front hip bones are drawing in towards each other. One more time up and down. And then the next time it comes to that inward position, bend your knees, hinge forward, top elbow gets nice and heavy. Lift your sitting bones up towards the sky. Take one good breath. Bend your knees, lift from the top of your head, come up nice and slow and controlled. One last bit of work in standing here with our TheraBand. So now we're going to take the TheraBand in front of us, palms facing up. We're going to walk the hands in a little bit so we get a nice firm pulling apart grip. And then we're going to keep that firm pulling apart grip and we're going to present the platter. So we're going to press the arms forward like we're presenting our delicious dish of saffron rice, and then pull those elbows back in, scrape your ribs. Keep that tension pulling apart. Press your arms forward. Keep that tension, pull it back in. Keep that tension, press your arms out. Keep that tension, pull it in. And now we're going to go for 3 little bicep curls here. So keep that tension on your band. Lower your arms down. Bring your arms up. Keep that tension. Lower your arms down. Bring your arms up. Keep that tension. Lower your arms down. Bring your arms up. And then release to a fairly neutral position. Release your grip, shrug out your shoulders, set that TheraBand off to the side, and then find your mountain pose at the top of your mat, toes and knees pointing forward. And then in your mountain pose here, you might notice that there's sort of a like more aliveness feeling through your upper body. So notice your arms, notice your chest, notice your shoulders. Take a breath. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Step the right leg back, warrior 2. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out. Right hand picks you up. Sink into that front thigh, but we want to feel like our weight is evenly distributed. So both legs should be strong and holding our weight. Once you feel like you're nice and evenly distributed, we're going to go for a side angle, peaceful warrior, and then we'll stay in side angle again. So elbow and forearm to the knee. Top hand reaches up. Lift with strength through the side body up into peaceful warrior. Back hand touches down, front hand reaches up. And then that left hand is going to come back to that front knee and thigh. We're going to think about lifting the ribs away as we lower the elbow to the knee. Keep those ribs lifting away. Reach that top hand up. Roll the pinky finger down towards the ground. Look towards the ground. Take a breath. One more breath. Now hands are going to come behind the head. Both hands are going to touch to the back of the head, and we're going to lift about halfway up and then come back down just a little bit. Lift about halfway up. Come back down just a little bit. Lift halfway up. Come back down just a little bit, and then we're going to lift up into peaceful warrior. So we're going to float up. Back hand's going to touch the thigh, front hand's going to reach up, and then just at the end of that, we'll cartwheel our hands down. Pivot that back foot. Find your runner's lunge. Right hand's going to stay on the ground. Left hand's going to reach up for a twist. Take one breath. Left hand touches back down to the ground. Plant your palms. Step back to plank. Bring your knees down. Rotate the eyes of your elbows. Hug the elbows in towards the ribs. Lower with control. Inhale up to a little baby cobra. Exhale to lower down. Power up to a plank. Curl your toes under. Find your strength. Come up nice and strong. Lift up into down dog. Take one breath. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push strong into your feet. Inhale, arms up. Hands through heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, warrior 2. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, left hand picks you up. And then find that nice even distribution of weight. So both legs are nice and strong. Sink into the front thigh, arms nice and strong, gaze forward, take a breath. Side angle, elbow to the knee, top hand reaches up just to find a little bit of space. And then lift up into peaceful warrior. Back hand touches down, front hand reaches up. Back to that side angle, but as we go along, we want to lift the ribs away from the thighs. We float the elbow to the knee. Top hand reaches up. Roll that top pinky finger down. Look towards the ground. Take a breath. Lift up and out through peaceful warrior. And then as we find the edge of that, we'll cartwheel the hands down and around, pivot that back heel, find your runner's lunge. Left hand stays on the ground, right hand reaches up for a twist. Release that hand down, plant your palms, step back to plank. Pause in your plank position for a moment. Bring your knees down, rotate the eyes of your elbows, lower with control. And now we're gonna go hands to the forehead. We're gonna do 3 extensions of the spine. So hands to the forehead. We're gonna keep our hands connected to the forehead. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften down, hands alongside the shoulders. Inhale up to a cobra, just as high as you like. Exhale up to down dog or through plank or table to down dog, whatever you like. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a soft fold at the top of your mat. From that soft fold, we're going to take it into a chair pose. So we're going to bring our butt down into a little bit of a seated position, lift the torso, lift the arms, draw your tailbone down just a little bit. We want to feel like there's a sense of firmness in our center. One more breath. We're going to take the left hand to the right knee and open up in a little twist of our chair. So right hand to the left knee, left hand's going to reach back, look to that hand, or right hand reaches back, excuse me, look to your hand, take a moment, and then release and we'll twist it over to the other side. Right hand's going to reach across that left knee. Left hand's going to reach back, look to your hand. Release back to center, both arms reaching upward. And then on your next exhale, float your hands down to the ground into a forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step both feet back to down dog. Right leg is going to come up into 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. We want to feel like we're finding a sensation in that right front pocket area. One more breath. Release that leg nice and slow and controlled. Switch it to the other side. Left leg is going to lift up nice and high. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Beautiful. Release that leg nice and slow and controlled. Float your knees down into tabletop position. Grab your ball. So we're just going to take that single ball. We're going to do a little bit of work in that psoas area. So we're going to come down onto our belly. You come down in any way that makes good sense. Take your ball. Think about where those hip bones are. 2 inches in the soft tissue. So we're going to put the ball in. And then once you've got your way there, soften your hips nice and heavy onto the ball. Arms in crocodile position, and then we're going to just bend the right knee. So my ball is under my right side. So you're going to bend the knee on the side that you're working on. Let your head soften down. With your leg in that bent knee position, you're just going to point and flex your foot. One more point and flex of the foot. And then we'll lower the foot down with control. Roll off just a little bit. We're going to move that ball down so it's underneath the middle of your thigh. So you're going to replace the ball into the middle of your thigh. And now here, upper body is going to be more in like a Sphinx-like position. You're going to get it into just a nice little groove that you can stand, and then let the thigh get super duper heavy onto the ball. We're going to take about 3 nice deep breaths here. All right, now before we release, we're just going to do a little bend and straighten of that leg. Nice. Now the next time the toe touches down to the ground, you're just going to do a little shear and glide. So we're keeping the ball pinned underneath the thigh, and then just swish your leg just a little bit side to side. All right, one more little swish side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to move that all to the other side. So you're going to pick up that ball, take it underneath that left psoas or in the low belly tissue area. So about 2 inches in from your hip bones. Once you've got the ball in place, come back to that crocodile position. So elbows wide, forehead supported, bending your left knee. Once you've got your way there, if it feels good, point and flex the foot. One more point and flex. And then let the foot float down, take a breath. All right, now we're going to lift off just enough so we can grab the ball. Now we're going to place it around the middle of the thigh. So you're going to find a nice happy position where it kind of lands and you can comfortably let the leg get sort of heavy. Upper body's going to be in more of that Sphinx-like position now. Pause for a moment. Take 3 nice deep breaths. All right, and then when you're ready, bend and straighten the leg. Nice. One more bend and straighten. And then the leg is nice and long, but we're just going to do that little bit of a glide across the ball. So wiggle your bum or swish the thigh, however you find that little bit of shearing work. So we keep the ball pinned underneath our thigh, and then we kind of move and glide the tissue. Awesome. One more little glide around, and then slowly and mindfully press your way back up to a tabletop position. Once you're in your tabletop position, 3 cat-cows. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, round your back. One more time. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, round your back. We're going to spin around to a seated position. We're going to do a seated figure 4 using our TheraBand. So scoot your ball off to the side, grab your TheraBand. And then for this one, it's just kind of a matter of where you put the TheraBand is how solid you can keep your foot in your ankle. So when we take the TheraBand around the foot and the ankle, we still want to maintain a good, strong structure of the foot and ankle. So if it has a tendency to kind of buckle the foot in, then put it around your calf and your ankle so that your foot gets a little bit out of play. But if it feels good, I like it around my foot, but I can keep my foot nice and solid. So just make sure that if you do it around the foot and the ankle, that it's a good, strong position. And then we're going to bring the leg into that figure 4 shape, or that little external rotation of the thigh. And now we're going to hold on firm to that TheraBand, push your thigh away from you, bring it back in with control. Push your thigh away, bring it back in with control. Push the thigh away, bring it back in with control. And this time we're going to push it out, hold it in that out position. So your leg might shake a little bit. Hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that tension. Set your band off to the side for a second. Grab the foot, grab the knee, bring it a little bit closer to your heart. And then if it feels good, rock the leg just a little bit side to side. One more little rock from side to side, and then we're going to switch it to the other leg. So send that leg nice and long. Take your TheraBand, catch it around the foot and the ankle or around the calf. That's just going to be what feels strong on this side. So we want to make sure that we maintain that good, strong position of the foot and the ankle so the foot's not sickling. And then once you've got your way there, the leg is externally rotated. We're in that bit of a figure 4 shape. Hold on firm to your TheraBand. Push your thigh away. Come back in with control. Push your thigh away. come back in with control, push it away, come back in with control. We're going to hold it out in that pushed away position. So push it away, hold it firm. Arms are working, legs are working. Hold it steady for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release with control. Unloop your foot, grab the knee, bring it a little bit closer to the heart, and then rock it a little side to side. Wonderful. One more little rock from side to side, and then release that foot nice and long. Wiggle out your toes, wiggle out your ankles, wiggle out your shoulders. We're going to take one forward fold, and then we'll find our way down to the ground, and we will want to use our yoga block for the next bit of work. So bend your knees significantly, lift your arms up and overhead, exhale, reach towards your feet. Take one good breath in that folded position. Nice. And then when you're ready, walk yourself out of that fold nice and slow. Scoot your butt forward, come down onto your back. Once you've got your way down onto your back, you're going to take your yoga block, skinniest setting, place it between your knees and your inner thighs, heels nice and close to the butt, feet firm on the ground, hands alongside the hips. Exhale, lift up into your hip bridge. Inhale, release back down. Exhale to lift up. Inhale, release back down. We're looking for that breath connection here. So if you can, focus on that breath connection. Exhale as you lift. Inhale, lower down. We're going to go for about 3 more. Use your breath's rhythm. As your hips touch down, we're going to float the legs up into reverse tabletop position. And then you might reposition your block just a little bit. We want it specifically a little bit more between the knees than anything else. And then we're going to keep that connection of the block between our knees. Keep that 90-degree bend in your legs. And now we're going to do that little bit of internal rotation. So it's the thigh that's trying to internally rotate. We swing the foot out, but we almost want to imagine that our knee and the front of the thigh is trying to hug or wrap in towards the block that we're working on. We're alternating sides, but I like that little pause at the end of the work so that I can just kind of feel the muscles in the side of my glutes trying to help do that work. All right, one more time each side, or even yourself out. And then we're going to keep that block between the knees and the inner thighs, but float your feet back down to the ground, heels nice and close to the butt, reposition anything that you need to. So we want to feel, think Suzanne Summers, Thigh Master. We're going to scrunch our knees into the ball like you're trying to crush the block with your knees. So crush it in, hold that tension, keep crushing the block, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab your block, release that tension on your legs. Feet are going to come together, knees out to the left and to the right, into a butterfly. And then right at the edge of that butterfly position, bring your legs back together for that hip bridge position. So feet about hip width distance apart. Exhale, lift your hips up, hold that lifted position. Think about anchoring your sternum down or the back of your rib cage down. Reach your knees towards your toes. So we find a little bit more length through the front of the thighs and that front pocket of your jeans. Take one more moment here. Roll your way down nice and slow and controlled. Pull both knees in towards your chest, a light and gentle squeeze. And then take those knees together, draw them in circles. Circle in one direction. Circle the other way. Beautiful. Now we're going to finish with a little bit of a stretch for our hip flexor. So we're going to bring the block back into play, float your feet down, lift your hips up, slide the block underneath your hips, lowest setting, unless you're super tall, which I don't think you are. So lowest setting will do the trick. And then once you've got that block underneath your hips, you're going to pull your right knee in towards the chest. So we're flexing the right knee or compressing that right hip flexor. Left leg is going to extend nice and long. Let the heel find the ground. Pause here for a moment, notice. You should feel like a little bit of stressing sensation or stretch in that left front pocket of your jeans area. And then if it all feels good, you're going to extend your left arm up above your head alongside your ear, reaching gently through the fingertips and down through your heel or point your toes. You're going to find the shape of the foot that feels slightly active, but nice and engaging, that helps you find that little bit of length. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Beautiful. With strength and control, you're going to lift that left leg up and float it up. And then you're going to pull it in toward your chest as you release the right leg. So we're going to switch it right to the other side with a good amount of control. Now we flex that left side or compress the left hip flexor and extend through the right side. Find that shape first. And then once that feels good, right arm extends up above your ear. A little energetic reach. So the foot is either flexed or pointed, but we want a little action down into the foot and then up through the fingertips. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. And now we're going to go both legs long. So with control, release that left leg down to meet the right. A little action in the feet. So feet are either flexed or pointed. That's just going to be what feels more active to you, that you have good control of. And then a little bit of a yawning stretch. So we're going to reach and lengthen through the front of the body. And then exhale, soften just a little bit. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, soften just a little bit. One more just like that. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, soften a little bit. Hands are going to float down alongside the hips. Feet are going to step in carefully into a supported hip bridge position. So make sure the block still feels good underneath your butt and your hips. And then once you found your way there, let everything just soften and settle. Think about reducing any effort in that front triangle of muscles of your pelvis. Reduce any efforting around your belly button or in your abdomen. Let your chest and your shoulders get soft and heavy. Go for about 3 nice deep breaths here. Push firm into your feet. Lift your hips up away from your block. Once you've got the block out of the way, slowly lower yourself down. Pause for a moment. Just give your spine and your central nervous system a moment to kind of find that chilled out position. And then ask yourself, where would be your best Shavasana? Would it feel good to take a more traditional shape? Would it feel good to come into reclined cobbler's pose? Maybe you roll onto one side, maybe you flip over onto your belly. Any shape that would feel really good. Take a moment to see if you can find it. And then once you've got the shape of your body that feels just enough restful that you can find some stillness, let that stillness find its way to you. Let your body be soft and heavy. Let your breath come in and out in a nice, slow, gentle rhythm. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana just as long as you like. But if you feel ready to do so, start to gently reawaken the body. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe as you wiggle your fingers and your toes, you gently let your head turn a little bit side to side, really calling back the body in a slow and gentle way. No need to rush. No need to go big with the movements. Just start nice and small, nice and slow. And then when you feel a slightly deeper breath come back into your body, maybe you invite some bigger movements in. Maybe you move your wrists, maybe you move your ankles, maybe you turn your head just a little bit further from side to side. And then when you feel like your body's just a little bit more alert, a little bit more awake, maybe you take it into that big good morning stretch. Walk your legs nice and long. Arms are going to stretch up and overhead. Take a big expansive inhale, reach through your fingers, reach through your toes, just create a bunch of length and space through your body. And then as you exhale, soften everything. And we're going to come up to a seated position. We're going to want our yoga block and our massage ball. So take your time as you find your way up. We're going to use our yoga block as a little bit of a seat. So you're going to set your yoga block on the lowest setting, and then pop your butt up onto your yoga block. Once you've got your way there, you're going to take your massage ball in your hand, left leg or whatever leg, it doesn't matter. We're going to do both. So one leg is going to be up a little bit in like that compass-like position, and the other leg is going to be in that sort of half butterfly position. So we just kind of want a little bit of uneven stance, but take the ball into the hand of the leg that's doing that butterfly position, and we're going to do that doorknob turn at the jaw. So you're going to push into where the jaw meets the ear and just do a little twist and turn. One more little twist and turn, and then we're going to do that glide. So we're going to go from the chin up towards the ear, and then you can push in and let your face do the movement, or you can push in and let the hand do the movement. That's just going to kind of be what gets you there, where you find that nice, smooth gliding maneuver. One more smooth little glide, and then we're going to take that ball to the back of the ear, and now we're just going to pin and drag. So you're going to push in, drag down the side of the neck, pick it up, and then bring it back behind the ear. Push in, drag down, lift it up, push in, drag down. And then we're going to release and do all of that work to the other side. So we're going to switch our legs, bring one leg up into that compass-like position, one leg in that half butterfly position, reposition your bum, and then ball in the other hand, push into that space where the jaw meets the ear and do the doorknob turn. So we push in and we twist and turn, twisting in both directions. And we want to feel like the skin and connective tissue kind of gets grabbed by the ball as if the skin itself is being twisted. Don't injure yourself, but we want a little bit of stimulation there. One more doorknob turn, and then we're going to take it into that glide. So down to the chin and up towards the ear. You move your head or you move your hand, just whatever gets you there. One more glide up and down, and then we're going to pick that ball up, bring it behind the ear, push in, drag down, lift it up, push in, drag down, lift it up, push in, drag down, and then release. And now we're going to bring both legs as if we're coming into a Sukhasana, but we're going to keep that block underneath our butt just to kind of have a little variation of shape. And then we're going to place the ball between our hands, interlace your fingers, press in, and then we're just going to massage the heels of the hands. You're going to just kind of smush your heels of your hands into the ball, making a little circular motion. And then if you're going in one particular direction, go the other way. One more little smushy circle around, and then set that ball down. Bring your prayer hands to heart center and Anjali Mudra, thumbs to sternum. Bow your head to your heart. Take a nice big expansive breath. See if you can find that space of breathing in through both nostrils evenly. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. And then breathe in a whole bunch of extra love and gratitude that you can carry with you through the rest of your day and share with anyone who might need it. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. You are amazing.